I suspect that if Kun Yingluck Shinawatra had known that being named Prime Minister would face this huge task of facing the biggest flood in history for Thailand, I think she might have changed her mind and must have told her brother that no, I'm not taking this. But then she didn't know that she was going to face this.
Right. I think she would have said no, definitely.
Yeah.
And today she was trying her best to hide her emotions when she was talking to reporters about the flooding situation. A lot of things happened today, Kuzichai, and apparently this government is on the back foot at the moment.
Yeah.
The Wall Street Journal has an article questioning leadership of Kun Yingluck, and even the Thai newspapers, which was seen as really sympathetic to the Pheu Thai party, they have started criticizing the government.
Because the public complaints have been growing.
And we have an opinion poll saying that the majority of the Thai people, they do not trust the FROC, the government.
The frog.
We call it the frog. The frog, yes.
So why is Yingluck so perceived to be so inefficient?
We've been talking to a lot of Pheu Thai reporters, and they all said they pinpoint one main reason, which is that she has no real right-hand person to tackle the flood crisis. And she was hoping to rely on Kun Yonghyut Vichai.
Well, Yonghyut and then Police General Prachar.
And then Kun Prapasop first.
And
then Kun Prapasop got his credibility crisis last week.
Yeah.
Maybe his credibility has been restored a little bit
by default
over the past few days. But then it was shifted to Kun Prachar. So, but three of them can be the real right-hand person. Like Kun Aphisit last year when he had this street protest crisis,
yes,
he had Kun Suthep on one hand taking care of political dealings, and then he had Kun Anupong overseeing the military situation. So, but Kun Yingluck didn't have that. She doesn't have anyone at all to help her in this flood crisis. This is the main reason. But also, the Pheu Thai people have told us that this is a two-way battle, actually. Because Kun Aphisit last year, he was experiencing a big flood crisis as well. But Bangkok was not under threat at that time. But now, contrary to our belief, a lot of Pheu Thai MPs have been very active
behind the scenes. Obviously,
they pressuring the government to help their provinces, and the government has to, on one hand, try to pacify those MPs, and on the other hand, they have to make sure that Bangkok will not be affected. So it's like a two-way battle for Kun Yingluck.
So she's under pressure from all sides.
Yes.
From the opposition, from her own MPs, and Bangkok governor Momracho Sukhumpan doesn't seem to be talking the same language, on the same wavelength.
That's the third reason. She and the Bangkok administration are not yet seeing eye to eye at the moment.
What about the military?
That's the fourth reason. Well, the military on Sunday, Kun Yingluck assigned the army to help in the 5 provinces. But still, so far the army is still playing passive roles at large. They just, okay, you tell me what to do and we do what you want us to do. Still, it's not, this kind of situation requires some proactive action from the army.
Right, being defensive does not help. And the army, I think, is playing the defensive role because they don't want to confirm suspicion that the army or the armed forces may be trying to play a role that is more outstanding than the government. They don't want to overshadow the government. And that's why Kun Yingluck is sort of half-hearted about it.
Yes, and we heard that the inside the inner circles of the Thai military, they really want Kun Yingluck to declare state of emergency, so that the operation could be more synchronized and even centralized, but they don't want to go public on that for obvious reasons. So Kun Yingluck and on Kun Yingluck, she doesn't want to declare for the state of emergency for obvious reasons as well. So
and I saw Kun Sudarat today out in
Yes.
the open. What is Kun Sudarat doing today?
well, she was making a very interesting suggestion. She said the government must change the plan, the whole water management plan. Otherwise, Bangkok will be flooded way down to the Victory Monument. And she was basically saying that the government have to rethink the whole water management strategy for the whole outer Bangkok and inner Bangkok also. It's very interesting because some sources link Kun Sudarat move to Kun Thaksin Shinawatra also. Yes, some insiders they said that Kun Thaksin may have been very disappointed with this government dealing with flood.
So he asked Sudarat to do something
We
about
cannot
it?
say that. We cannot say that, but
I don't think Kun Thaksin will want to do anything to overshadow his sister.
maybe if he has a hand in this, maybe he wants Kun Sudarat to just help his sister.
Well, helping doesn't mean that she should come up publicly with any proposal that does not really help improve the image of the Prime Minister. By suggesting that the Prime Minister should change the strategy, indicates that she is saying the present strategy is wrong.
Right.
And at this critical time, it's very, very sensitive.
It's very significant to just come out today when everything is in a critical situation to say that what we have been doing is maybe wrong.
So, our sympathy goes to the Prime Minister, but then the country interest has to come first, and she has to show her leadership, she has to make decisions, and she has to be forthright with the public. Just tell the public what actually is happening. And I think that will be the most important part. It doesn't matter if you cannot do your job 100%, but at least tell the people what the problems you're facing, who is putting pressure on you. After all, the public, the people, are the one you should bank on and should open your heart to. MPs, governors, advisors, don't really matter. After all, you have been elected and the public mandate is for you to do the job.